90% of street fights end up on the ground. Blah, blah, blah. Everyone's heard that before. But how do you make sure that you don't end up looking like this guy? How do you come on top every single time?
It's actually pretty unlikely, so keep that in mind. But if this does happen and it's somehow self-defense, no friends, no weapons, well, this is what you should be doing. Obviously, all fights start on the feet. So first thing you want to do is go for takedowns. One of the best things to do strategically is to close the space with a double guard so you don't cop any strikes in the initial blast. And then wrap your hands under like this. As I do this takedown, I step on top, I'm pulling him in, and I'm on top here. Now, keep in mind that we're doing this as if you train jiu-jitsu. It's not like, you know, you just learn these 1 or 2 techniques and it's gonna work. It won't if you haven't trained this and trained it in real sparring situations. Okay, now once I'm here, there's a few things to do. If he's super crazy, he's trying to bridge and roll me and all that sort of thing, make sure your posts are strong, make sure you've got a solid mount position, and a low mount is the way to go. If he's being super nuts with his legs and you don't want to be bridged at all and you can't get to a low mount position, come to a high mount position, for example, like an S mount. At this point, use your post and make sure you can't move. Okay, most people aren't very good at this unless you practice it a fair bit, so make sure to get your reps in of doing this. Obviously, I'm pretty heavy right now. From here, if you're gonna finish it, right, it's gonna be 2 things. One thing is he turns his back somehow, he turns his back over, and then we end up getting the choke finish anyway, whether it's here or ideally flattened out once again. And the other situation, keep in mind, you don't want to have to do this in a fight. You don't have to break someone's arm, but you are in a position where you can finish the armbar from the top here. It's better to finish an armbar on the top than falling back, because if I mess this up and he somehow comes on top, now I'm in a bad position once again. The other very possible outcome here is he kind of gives you an arm in some sort of way that you can shock over and you end up on the back. A lot of the time they end up going for a headlock here. Like this is fine, you can usually pop your head out the back. If not, taking down with the headlock and you'll be completely fine. Once you're here, there's a lot of different things you can do, but in some way, shape or form, you want to start taking them down to the floor as well, okay? Now, in this situation, if they start building to their hands and feet like this, which is standard reaction, you want to get your hooks in like this and start flattening the person out like this. So once you're in this position, obviously you don't want to strike them, but you could if you actually needed to. You just flatten with your hips out like this so they can't move. Especially if he's on his hand like this, he's pretty screwed. At this point, you can go in, choke with the one hand, or if you can, get the second hand out and choke like that. That's absolute best case scenario. Obviously, if you can do it without actually choking someone, that's even better case, because just for legal reasons, you kind of don't want to choke someone out. If you put someone to sleep, you can actually face serious legal ramifications for that. But obviously, if it's a real self-defense situation, you should be okay.
This should only be used in self-defense, by the way.
Obviously, don't go picking fights.
And if you did, say Flingalia told you how to fight and he encouraged it.
Don't.
Don't do that.
No matter how prepared you are for a fight, things can and will go wrong. Let's say you have 2 or 3 fights, one of them, even if you're a good jiu-jitsu fighter, you will probably end up on the bottom position. If that happens, you want to instantly do one of 2 things. Number 1 is keep him away where I can get my knees in between so he can't punch. So go to punch, grab in the arms as soon as you can. So now he can't punch, all that kind of stuff. This is called the Valetudo guard. Rickson Gracie was really good at this stuff. Obviously you can do your triangles here. You can start to look at your sweeps and all that kind of thing. But ideally, if you can, even once you're here, use this to stand up and reposition, retake him down. The other thing is, get him in close in some way, shape or form.
So pulling him in close is going to be really good because it's going to nullify any of his punches, elbows, headbutts, anything like that, even his biting.
But the other thing is, we can look for sweeps again and arm bars and triangles from here as well. So ideally, if you can get some sort of a tight sweep, like a pendulum sweep here, which by the way, is going to be so easy on someone that doesn't practice jiu-jitsu, then you can do that and then end up in the top position again. Anyway, now for science sake, we're gonna go ask if anyone wants to basically fight us while we just use our jiu-jitsu and test if this strategy works. So yeah, we're doing it so you don't have to.
A few moments later.
What are the best BJJ techniques for a street fight? We challenged people to real street fights where we said we wouldn't use any punches or kicks, but they could do whatever they want.